Hey, how are you? God bless you. It is nice to finally meet you. Um, I was waiting on you to find my video. Um, you're right on schedule. It is not by accident, nor by mistake, that you clicked onto my video. I want to let you know that right off the bat. The reason why you're watching me right now is because you're one of the ones that God has sent me after. You are assigned to me. I got to talk to you about something. God gave me a revelation about the 12th step. And God told me to show you what He showed me about that 12th step. And what He showed me about that 12th step, it brought tears to my eyes because I saw how you were taken advantage of while you were in a vulnerable state. You were looking for help, but you went the wrong way. And that's why it brought tears to my eyes. And I want to very quickly say, I'm Prophetess James, and God delivered me from 12 years of crack cocaine. I'm an ex-prostitute and I'm an ex-stripper. And also, He healed my body from AIDS and lung cancer. I have a lot of information to give you. I have a lot to tell you. And when I pause like that, I'm making sure that I don't leave anything out, because you need to know all of this. I'm a prophet, and also I'm an advocate for men and women that are struggling with the issues of drugs and alcohol. Even though I am a prophet, I didn't come to preach to you. This is not what this video is about. This video is about me telling you something. I got something to tell you. And so I just wanted to get that out right there. I don't want you thinking, okay, she's getting ready to preach to me, because I'm not going to preach to you. This is not what this video is about. This video is about a message. I got to tell you something. Okay, there's something that I have to tell you. I'm an advocate for men and women that are struggling with the issues of drugs and alcohol. And also the other testimony is that God also delivered me from the spirit of homosexuality, alcohol, and nicotine addictions. And I want to very quickly say, if you walk away from this video and you don't believe what you just heard, then that means that you didn't get the message of what God was telling you through me. That's what that means. So if you walk away from this video hearing what God is saying to you through me, and you say, okay, I don't believe this, then what that means is that you didn't get the message. It didn't hit home with you. That's what that means. Okay. But if you do walk away from this message and saying, okay, I got what she's saying, then that means that you got it. I reached you. Okay. So at this time, I'm going to go ahead, but for the sake of time, I want you to get the fullness of this video. And I have edited this video. There will be a CD coming back out behind this video. There is a longer version. For the sake of time, I have to put a rush on this. I have edited the things that I need to say to you because of the time frame of this YouTube video. If you need to call me, I'm reachable. My number is 404-709-6896. The number again is 404-709-6896. I want you to give me a call. I pray that you do get this message. I love you. And you got the victory. Now, the 12th step. The 12th step says this: having had a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps. So what God told me to take you, I got to take you back to the 12th step to show you what you did not see, what you looked over. And He wants me to reveal this thing to you and take the scales off your eyes, so you're going to be able to see what the 12 steps is really telling you, because you really don't understand. Okay. And here we go right here. The 12th step says, having had a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps. For number one, the first thing I want to show you is this. It says, having had a spiritual awakening. Had means past tense, that it already happened. Had. We're going to dissect this word had. Had means it's done. This thing has already occurred. It says, having had a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps. Had means past tense again. Now, the next thing I want to show you, having had a spiritual awakening. I'm just repeating to you what the 12th step is saying. Take a look at it for yourself. Having had a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps. Baby, you have had, what God wants me to show you is this. It says, you have had a spiritual awakening. Okay, all the 12th step is telling you is that you had this thing that is called a spiritual awakening. For number 2, you don't even know what a spiritual awakening is, because the 12th step does not enclose that information. All it's telling you that you had this thing. You don't know it. The NA and AA did not explain to you what a spiritual awakening is. Now, I looked up that word spiritual awakening in Webster Dictionary, and according to Webster, it states that it's to awake to something in the spirit. Baby, you woke up to something in the spirit. When you had this spiritual awakening, the 12 steps say, having had a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps, which means when you practice them 12 steps, you woke up to something in the spirit, but you don't even know what you woke up to. Number 2, now, God wants me to show you, for number 1, you don't know what a spiritual awakening is, and you cannot assume to what it is, because NA and AA did not tell you, baby, what a spiritual awakening is. Number 2, you don't even know when you had this spiritual awakening. You don't know, was it on a Monday at 7:30? Was it on a Tuesday night at 5 o'clock? Was it on a Wednesday evening? When was it that this thing took place with you? Number 3, why is it that you cannot even remember having this spiritual awakening? What the 12th step is telling you. The 12th step is telling you, baby, that you had a spiritual awakening. Number 1, you don't even know what it is. A spiritual awakening is. That's a red flag. Number 2, you don't even know when this thing occurred with you. This spiritual awakening. Number 3, why is it that you cannot seem to remember what the 12th step is telling you that you had? The 12th step said you had this thing. Now, what I want to know, and you need to know, is that why is it that you cannot remember even having this thing called a spiritual awakening? What was it that was done to you in order for you not to even remember what you already had? What this is spiritual awakening. Why you can't remember? The 12th step is telling you that you had it. Look at what it's saying. That's dangerous right there, because the other thing is that you don't even know what you had. Now, what I want to know is that why is it that you can't remember what went on with you? What was done? What did that spiritual awakening do to your mind that you cannot remember what was done to you? What did they do to your memory? Something happened to you when you had that spiritual awakening. What God wants you to see is that, baby, something happened to you when you had that spiritual awakening. You don't even remember having it. The other thing is, you don't even know what occurred during the course of you having this thing called a spiritual awakening. What did they do to your mind? So you won't even remember having this thing called a spiritual awakening. That's dangerous right there. You don't even know when this thing occurred with you. And not only do you can't remember having a spiritual awakening, you don't even know when it happened. Was it on a Sunday night? Was it at 3 o'clock in the afternoon? This thing called a spiritual awakening. Alcoholic and Narcotic Anonymous, you need to go to the headship and leadership of that organization and say, what did you do to my mind? That is the reason why I cannot remember having this thing called a spiritual awakening, because something was done to you. I'm here to open up your eyes to see that something happened to you when you practiced them 12 steps. You got caught up into something. It is evil. It is not of God. This is why God brought me before you today, to wake you up and say, baby, listen, something happened to you. When you practice them 12 steps, and on the 12th step, it's telling you that you had a spiritual awakening, but God knows that you don't fully understand what they are telling you. And that's why he sent me to make this video for you. The one that's watching me right now. God wants me to open up your eyes so you can really see what's really going on. You got caught up into something. It is witchcraft. Baby, you don't even know they telling you the 12th step says, as a result of these steps, you have had a spiritual awakening. As a result of them steps, when you practice them, it was a ritual. 12 steps is not the good news of the gospel of Jesus Christ. You had, it says, as a result of these steps, you have had a spiritual awakening. You woke up to something in the spirit realm, but you don't remember. Why is it that you have amnesia and you cannot remember? What did you see? You saw something, but you cannot remember. That's dangerous right there. Because it said, having had a spiritual awakening, which saying that you had this thing. It's telling you it already happened to you. It's telling you. And you have no clue as to what the 12th step is saying to you. This spiritual awakening that you had. God told me to uncover the mind, uncover your eyes so you can really see what that 12th step is telling you. And after today, after you see this video, you'll never be the same. Something happened to you very serious. And I want you to, don't be afraid, that I want you to know that God has you. And because you're watching me right now, everything is all right, because he already know what the enemy is doing to these people in those NA and AA meeting. It is a cult. If you have any questions, I want you to call me. I'm touchable. You don't understand what you got caught up in. In order for you to go forward, God got to take you back so he can undo what's been done to you. You've been walking in something and it looks to you like ain't nothing happened to you, because what was done to you was done in the spirit and not in the flesh. When you had that spiritual awakening, it's evil and it's witchcraft. Something was done to your mind. You don't even know what they did to you. You don't even know what a spiritual awakening is. What is this thing? Alcoholics and Narcotics Anonymous did not explain to you what that thing is that is called a spiritual awakening. All they told you is that, hey, you done had this thing. They did not go into in-depth detail and say what that thing was that you had called a spiritual awakening. You need to dissect that. Look that word up according to in Webster Dictionary. I'm going to cut it off right here because I want this video to be able to go through YouTube, because I want to make sure you get the entirety of this message. But I'm here to let you know that they did something to you. Something awful happened to you, baby, when you had that spiritual awakening. And that's why I bring tears to my eyes, because you don't even know the seriousness of that thing called a spiritual awakening. But I'm here to let you know today, something is wrong. But God is able to make whatever is wrong right. You got my number? Call me. I love you and be encouraged. That's all for right now. God bless.